primetime television coverage, a multi-day spectacle generating hundreds of millions in revenue. Cities fighting for the privilege to host it. No championship game, no touchdowns, not even a single snap of football. Now rewind to 1936. A quiet room in Philadelphia's Ritz-Carlton Hotel. No crowd, no cameras, just a handful of men in suits, taking turns picking college players. What began as a modest meeting would evolve into a juggernaut, an event that would redefine the business of sports, a hidden gem, overlooked for decades. Now cities bid for it like the Olympics, TV networks wage bidding wars, and sponsors pour in millions, all for a draft. For decades, the NFL draft remained largely unchanged, a practical event held in a hotel conference room or small venues. Team executives would gather, make their picks, and leave. The public barely noticed. By the early 2000s, ESPN had begun broadcasting the draft, giving it a cult following among hardcore football fans, but it was still relatively low profile. Just some executives in a room reading names of cards.
Hi, hello, and welcome to the New York Sheraton Hotel's Grand Ballroom, the site of the 1980 National Football League College Player Draft. We're grand here at the ESPN Anchor headquarters for what will be a history-making day, not only for television, but for the National Football League as well.
First round selection, Oklahoma running back Billy Sam.
Then, in 2015, everything changed. For the first time in history, the NFL moved the draft outside of New York City. Chicago would host it, and nobody knew exactly what to expect. What happened next shocked even the NFL's own executives. Nearly 200,000 fans flooded into Chicago over 3 days. Media coverage exploded. The city reported a massive economic boom. In that moment, the NFL realized they weren't just sitting on a mildly interesting television event. They had uncovered a goldmine, a Super Bowl level attraction that didn't require building a stadium, paying players, or even playing a game. The numbers tell the story. When Nashville hosted in 2019, the city reported a staggering $224 million in economic impact. Over 600,000 fans descended on the city, filling hotels, restaurants, and bars to capacity. More than 750,000 attendees generated $230 million in revenue for local businesses. In contrast, the Super Bowl in 2024 in Vegas was attended by 330,000 total visitors during the week. In 2022, when the draft was in Vegas, it reportedly generated $500 million in economic impact. Think about this. Cities now compete to host the NFL draft the way they bid for the Olympics or World Cup. Why? Because it's all economic upside. Hotels book out for miles. Restaurants serve record numbers. Local attractions see massive spikes in visitors. And perhaps most importantly, the host city receives hours of free national publicity as cameras showcase their skylines and attractions to millions of viewers. For cities looking to revitalize downtown areas or establish themselves as premier event destinations, hosting the NFL draft has become the golden ticket. But the real genius lies in how the NFL monetized this transformation. What was once a simple administrative procedure is now a revenue-generating machine with 4 primary engines. First, media rights. The draft is now broadcast simultaneously on ESPN, ABC, and NFL Network, plus streaming platforms. Advertisers pay premium rates to reach the coveted sport demographic during a time when football content would otherwise be scarce. Second, sponsorships. Verizon, Bud Light, Nike, and countless local businesses pay top dollars to associate their brands with the event. Third, merchandising. Those draft day hats you see placed on the heads of newly selected players. They are available for purchase before the player even leaves the stage. Pop-up shops selling draft-specific gear appear throughout host cities. Fourth, fan experiences. From tickets to exclusive draft zones to interactive football activities, the NFL has turned the draft into a football theme park where nearly every experience can be monetized through partnerships. The numbers are staggering. The 2023 draft attracted over 54 million total viewers across all platforms. The first round alone routinely draws over 10 million viewers, often beating NBA playoff games happening in the same time slot. For context, that's more viewers than watch most regular season NFL games. The genius of the draft's timing cannot be overstated. Positioned perfectly between the Super Bowl and the preseason, During what was once a dead zone for football content, the draft fills a void when football fans are desperate for anything NFL related. This creates a content engine that powers engagement for months. Mock drafts dominate sports shows for weekends beforehand. The actual 3-day event captures primetime audiences. Player reactions and team grade analysis fuel weeks of post-draft coverage, all without the NFL having to play a single game. And the NFL isn't stopping there. The league is actively working to turn the draft into a truly global event. International players from Australia, Nigeria, and Germany are increasingly featured, and there's growing speculation about eventually holding a draft outside the United States, perhaps in London or Munich. As the NFL continues its international expansion, digital content surrounding the draft generates millions of clicks before the event even begins, creating year-round engagement. When you examine what the NFL has created, it's almost a perfect business model. They don't pay the main attractions. They don't need to rent a stadium. They leverage local municipalities to fund infrastructure in exchange for tourism. And they sell advertising at premium rates. The NFL discovered how to host a Super Bowl without the expense and risk of actually playing a championship game. The transformation of the NFL draft represents one of the most brilliant brand evolutions in sport business history. In just a few decades, it went from a procedural meeting to a multi-day content engine, tourism magnet, and sponsorship goldmine. What other annual events could learn from this playbook? The NFL has created a model for how to monetize anticipation and drama, proving that sometimes the build-up can be just as valuable as the main event itself. For a league that generated over $11 billion last year, the draft has become the crown jewel of its off-season strategy, a brand within a brand that continues to grow year after year. And it all started with a simple meeting in a Philadelphia hotel.